Welcome to Bir New York Şarkısı once again. Today in our studio we have two guest artists, and they're jazz musicians and composers and arrangers and band leaders, and Russ is an actor and producer too. We'll talk about that also. We are broadcasting today from Radio Turkum'de's unique setting studios in Long Island City in New York, and once again, hello and welcome to all our listeners from around the world. And once again, welcome to you, Russ and Sagit. I think you wanted to mention that there was an oud player from Poland, which is very interesting.
Right. He's Polish, but he's also like an international, exactly. He's an international musician. And I actually don't know if there's his last name. Yeah, no, it's just his first name. His name is Lucian, and he plays a lot of instruments. Last time I was in Poland, we did a few recordings together. He plays sitar and he's also an arranger. He lives in Italy and in Poland.
Wow.
So he played oud, and it was quite a funny story. You know how we said earlier we improvise, and the part of our life is the travel and the improvisation. So Grzegorz and I played a concert in I don't remember where, in Poland, and he came to us after the concert and he said, I really want to collaborate with you guys. I can play a lot of instruments. He plays flutes and all kinds of. And we were just going to the studio a week later, so we said, okay, come and join us on one of the tunes. And he heard all the tunes and he wanted to play on this tune. He wanted to play oud. So it all was improvised. It all was in the last moment. He came with a lot of instruments and he recorded this track.
It sounded very well. Russ, you also have a very, like I mentioned in the beginning, interesting background and history of, different trades and arts and skills. You are, as we have your information, and I talk to you, you are a commissioned composer and arranger, as well as a guitarist, and a band leader, a writer, a producer, and an actor. Well, how come someone can be so many different personalities and might have so many traits and skills and talents? Please tell us about those things first.
Well, I'll try to do it as best as I can.
Just briefly.
Yeah. I think the thing is, once you get involved in artistic pursuits, if that's where your energies are situated, then it happens that other opportunities come your way. I was mostly I was just wanted to be a musician, a guitar player, and when I was in graduate school, I got asked to work on this TV show as the music instructor, and then I got interested in film, and I started taking acting classes, and next thing I knew, I was acting in one of the shows. Then I started writing, and I ended up writing a script for a short film that is actually going to be shown in LA next week, which I'm flying out for.
Wow.
At the New Media Film Festival in Los Angeles.
You wrote it?
I wrote it and produced it and did the music for it. And I've done music for a few films because that just got also interesting for me. And I've always been interested in literature from quite a young age. I was writing poetry, and I have a couple non-fictional works that are a CD review for an academic journal, and then a short autobiography that's coming out in a anthology sometime in this next year. This is a piece of mine that actually is from a perhaps grant-worthy project, which is something called the Deep Brooklyn Suite. The Deep Brooklyn Suite. This one is called Inquietude, which means inquietude. It's dedicated to living in Brooklyn, and it's a fairly noisy place, so this is sort of my antidote to that.
Jazz programs, and we were talking earlier about the commemoration of Ahmet Ertegün in the Turkish embassy with you, and because you know a lot about this, why don't you share with our listeners about your appreciation of that event that happening every year, and Ahmet Ertegün, your findings and your information about what you know about Ahmet Ertegün and Arif Mardin and their connection to the jazz.
We had a very serious racial issue in this country up until very recently. I mean, it still exists. It's not like it's gone away. But in the 40s, when I gotta take this off here. In the 40s, when Ahmet was stationed with his father, who was the ambassador to the United States from the new Turkish Republic. At that time in Washington, D.C., blacks, even black musicians were highly regarded. Were not allowed in the front door of a hotel, definitely not an embassy. And Ahmet and his brother Nesui were huge jazz fans. They had some of the biggest jazz collections in the world of jazz vinyl, and they found their favorite musicians who were around, and they would invite them to come to dine with them, to talk with them, and then to perform for them at the embassy, and all the other. Especially the Americans were saying, "What do? You can't have black people doing that." And they're like, basically, "Screw you, we're going to do what we want." And that was one of the first movements in popular culture to break down racial barriers in America.
Currently, I have this band called Afro-Jew band.
This is my concept. I mean, Afro-Jew is, the idea behind it is basically, I believe that jazz, we have jazz thanks to African slaves that came to the U.S. and I really want to acknowledge this idea. I want to say thank you, for God or whatever reality happened in this way, that we are basically using their knowledge, which is kind of like a sacred, to me it's kind of magical and sacred knowledge, to entertain people, to express ourselves, to create music. And I want to give like homage to that culture. That's why I called it Afro-Jew, because my two cultures, Jewish and I feel this is also something I'm coming from. And this is also what brought me to Africa, because I feel grateful to those people. Now, when I went back, I saw they have nothing. They have no instruments, they have no knowledge, and I really want to give back, because thanks to them, I am who I am. I was inspired by this music thanks to the African American people who played it. Not only African American people, but mostly, the great ones. All the big names and so on. I don't need to say, but
very well.
This is who I am. So
very well put. Very well said. To your custom-made guitar.
Well, it's a standard, but it's called a custom from the custom shop. But
so that was not designed specifically for you.
No, not that. Sorry.
Do you play any other instruments?
Well, first of all, I often get asked that. What do you play? Electric, lead, solo, whatever? And I just say I play anything with 6 strings. So I don't really care. I mean, I work on classical guitar. I play steel string. It doesn't matter the guitar itself. I also play other ethnic musics. For example, studied Indian music. I have an Indian quartet quintet called Sundar Shor, where I did
Wow.
tours in Europe and in India.
Wow.
I do everything also, like I said, from film music to rock to blues to a lot of Latin music as well. Bossa Nova. I have a Latin jazz quintet that I started. I'm getting together actually an Afro pop ensemble as well. And then I also play a little bit of flute and bass, keyboards, and drums.
Wonderful. What would you like to share with our listeners, lastly? Sagit.
My biggest prayer for everyone that everybody will try to live their passion like you do, actually, doing this program and having this radio station around, and, like Russ and I do, and try every day better to do what we love to do and to share our love with everyone else. So I wish everybody to expand that part of their lives.
Thank you so much.
Oh boy.
And Russ Spiegel.
Follow the program. Well,
Russ, could you also please share if you have any concerts, upcoming concerts in New York City or in Turkey or Europe or anywhere else, and
Mars.
well, that's a little easier than coming up with the other thing.
Please,
But,
anything else, please give a message.
Yeah, I'll be playing actually tonight from 6 to 10 in quartet at the Garage on 7th Avenue, 99 7th Avenue in the West Village, Greenwich Village. I play most Fridays and Saturday nights at a place called Il Porto Pizzeria.
Mm-hmm.
It's on 37 Washington Avenue at Flushing in Brooklyn. I will be playing on the 24th of June with my Latin Jazz Quintet. It's called the Latin Jazz Groove Thang, with Tommy Mattioli on vibraphone. The 15th I'll be in Poughkeepsie playing in a quartet with the great saxophonist Derek James. And on Sundays I also play a jazz brunch, usually at Wine a Bit, which is in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Yeah.
Let's also, and your website, please.
Oh, my website, that's easy. www.russguitar.com. And that's Russ with 2 S's, not R-U-S, like the Russian in Turkish. RUSSGUITAR.com.
And how about you? Your website?
My name, sagitzilberman.com.
Okay. Back to you.
Oh, okay. Well,
what would you like to share with our listeners finally?
Oh, I just try to always support live music. Come out and support us. Say hello. We love to talk to people and talk about music or about life. It doesn't have to be or whatever. And we, of course, it'd be great to hear from people who listen to the show.
Yeah, please.
And lastly, I'm also trying to get to the Ankara Jazz Festival next year in Ankara, and hopefully also the Akbank Festival in Turkey. I want to go back and also perform at the Darlis Jazz Club.